Happy Tuesday. What's up, Facebook land? What's up, Shredder Nation? Welcome to another episode of Shred Your Body. We are literally at episode number 20. I was just thinking about this in my mind today, and I was like, holy crap, 20 consecutive weeks of sharing amazing stories of amazing people and amazing results. And that's really what my goal is every single Tuesday when I come live with another Shred Your Body call, is to share epic stories of people that we found in our Shred community, which, by the way, is free for everyone. You just go to www.ershredders.com. We welcome all people. And this is something that's just absolutely changing the course of people's lives. 8 months ago, when we first started talking about this concept, you could have looked at me and questioned my craziness. You could have looked at me and said, what the hell are you talking about? But after 8 months of solid proof of concept, of thousands of people literally coming alive physically, mentally, life's changing, health changing, and all sorts of aspects, I now think that if you aren't open-minded enough to even look at the Shred, you're the freaking crazy one, not me, because that proof of concept is nuts. And tonight, we are going to blow the freaking doors wide open with my very special guest, Paul Suplee. I said it right, Paul?
Right.
Yeah.
You got it,
Paul's,
man.
who has just been, Paul and I have become friends through the Shred. We have not known each other for a very long period of time. And let me tell you what I know so far. Paul is just an amazing freaking human being who is on a mission to now help other people change the course of their health, because he's now finally found a way. And you'll hear through his backstory. It's a crazy epic backstory, but you'll hear all of the different ways and trials and tribulations that Paul went through. But I'm excited to get going. We got a lot to get through tonight, so we're going to dive right in. So first off, thank you, Paul, for being here. Welcome to the nice round episode number 20 of Shred Your Body. That's all yours, baby.
All right. Well, thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it. I'm honored to be here. I do appreciate it. I really do. And I know we have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat with you, man. So let's get started so people get to know you. Let's start with basic stuff. First off, where are you from?
I live outside of Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay. And you become friends with Adam Sisk, yes? Adam was the one who kind of shared this whole, you saw Adam post about something. How did you find out about the Shred?
He got posting stuff about the collagen elixir on LinkedIn, and I just I messaged him one day. I've been involved in other MLMs before, so I'm familiar with the process. And the one thing almost across the board is the product is good. So I just asked him. Then we started chatting back and forth about some product. I liked the product. And the more I realized, and that this is big for me too, when I got into Shred and I realized that you guys aren't, the whole point of Shred is not just to push product. It's about pushing education. That's a whole different ballgame. So I kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah, I think what we've learned, Paul, is we do use products for sure, because I've been in the health and fitness industry for 20 years. I believe in my soul, from the research that I've done and what I've seen scientific proof of, our food today is just not the same as it was. You've studied food your entire life, and we'll get into that. I mean, you're an executive chef, you own 2 restaurants, like you teach food, you're a professor, you're I think associate, I forgot what it was, professor at a college of culinary, food. I mean, food. Like, you and I love food. I love food as an athlete. You love food because food's your life. It's been your life for so long, you know what I mean? And I think one of the things that I love too about that, I'm so glad you said that, because for us, I think that with the depletion of how our food is today compared to how it was, we are absolute fools to not take advantage of scientific supplementation. We got to make sure our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted, because there's a lot of bullshit out there. And we've done that with the Shred. I mean, we have the highest level of certification you can get in that industry. So yeah, supplements are important, but the education, so you become the powerful. This is the empowerment. Do you think, when I think of Shred, it's not necessarily a diet, it's not a protocol, it's empowerment, right? Do you feel more empowered now at the end of your second shred than you did when you first came into this when it comes to food?
Oh, it's unbelievable what I recognize in food, how I feel about food. I haven't had a soda in 8 weeks. That for me, I'm 52 years old. My first job in 1983 was the Chart House in Annapolis, and back then when they had the big metal water pitchers, I would drink about 5 or 6 of those a night of Coca-Cola. I mean Coke. It's all we drank was soda all night long. We didn't drink water because water's stupid. Adam will tell you how much I love water. I hate water. Can't stand water. So I have always had, that's like my number one addiction is soda pop. Man, I love my Coca-Cola. And I got to be careful how I say that. If I go, man, I love Coke. You know, restaurant industry, I love Coca-Cola. Soda's good. Soda's good. But I've always had a sweet tooth. I've never been able to curb my sweet tooth. That has always been the bane of my dieting regimen existence. When I race mountain bikes, I know I'd mentioned this before and other things, but when I raced mountain bikes, I was in the expert class. I raced in Norba back in the 90s, and we did a lot of, big mountain races. And I would carb load for 2 days like you used to. I would finish the race with glucose tablets in my jersey, just chewing on sugar the whole ride, Cytomax in my thing. And then when I would finish a race, and this is no lie, my trademark was an entire box of Twinkies and a 20-ounce of Coke. So Coca-Cola. So that's just what it is. As much sugar as I could put in my body. Here, 5 days into ER shred, I started feeling them waning, like my cravings for sugar. And here it is 8 weeks later. I haven't had a soda, and I really don't care.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you say?
This is water.
I think we should just drop the mic and end the call right now. I think you just summed it all up. Like, if that doesn't speak to somebody, like, somebody needs to reach through a computer and smack you alive. I don't know what's going on. So Heather, I just need to fix something real quick, Paul, before we dive deeper. Heather, one of our executive, board members, she was making fun of me saying I'm sitting because I'm apparently hurting, but I just want her to know that I can fully get up and sit and do squats and all that kind of good stuff. So shush, Heather. But anyways, so did you grow up in that area? Did you grow up in Maryland?
I grew up in Annapolis.
Annapolis. Okay, cool. And for you, you own 2 restaurants. Your passion is food. You and I have chatted a little bit about food. We love food, right? I think we used it for different purposes, you know what I mean, throughout life and such. But for you, tell us the story. How did you get into food so much? Like, did that start at an early age? Were mom and dad involved in food, or where did that love for food come from?
Excuse me. My mom was a stay-at-home. I'm the youngest of 8 kids.
Okay.
So I was the little wolfling wearing the loincloth. I got away with murder. It was awesome. It was fantastic. But my mom was the inside cook. My dad was the grill cook. My dad was a World War II veteran. Great guy, great cook on the grill. Excuse me. Sorry. But he was... Until in 1986, he was one of the lead engineers at the National Gallery of Art. So I was born in 68, so that's helped me out here, 86, 73. So from the time I was 5, when we'd go to the gallery, we were very fortunate. We got to eat in the executive dining room, so we got to eat good food. So it was really a cool thing. When they would have guests over to the house, they would always kind of go the extra mile. My favorite story about my mom is, and this is back in the 70s, is she had a whole bunch of executives coming to our house in Annapolis for dinner, and she has dinner ready. But then my dad called from the gallery and said, "Hey, 4 more people are coming." And she's like, "Oh shit!" So she had just about enough of everything, but not the salad. So she went. Think about this. In the 70s, she went out in the yard and she picked dandelion greens, and she filled the salad that way. And that was like the biggest thing. Everybody's like, out of everything, the whole meal, the salad was the favorite part. So I was kind of like, I kind of grew up in decent food and more adventurous food. And when I was 15, I went to the Chart House for my birthday. And it's a restaurant that seats like 200 people. It's very loud. Exhibition kitchen, so you can see all the fires. You can hear all the cooks yelling and, screaming at the servers.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I want to do this.
That's crazy.
That's how I got into it.
Because people, I love those kitchens, by the way. Like, they are literally my favorite place to eat when I can actually see the action. I have this amazing place in Providence, Rhode Island, that's like my favorite breakfast place, and they have that open kitchen, and we always have to sit at the counter so we can literally see the head chef as their place. It's like, I mean, dude, it's fucking mayhem in there. Like, I don't know, like, I don't even know how you guys remember that stuff. People, that is not easy. That is
Yeah.
not easy whatsoever. It is craziness, and you
Yeah.
fell in love with it. You fell in love with it. So I love that. So, and then from there, tell me, so obviously you started learning to cook through your parents. That's where a lot of this comes from. And then did you go to school for that? Is that did you take that career path, or did you just like get into it and start learning hands on?
Well, I cooked for about 2.5 years in Annapolis from the time I was 15 to almost 18. And then I went to Johnson and Wales in Providence, and I went there for 14 months and got my associates in culinary arts. And there was a thing called advanced standing. So because I had already cooked and I passed the entrance exam, I did my whole freshman year in 3 months in the summertime. And then I just went there. So in 14 months, I had my associates. And then 1 month later, I was in boot camp in the Marine Corps. So,
and by the way, thank you, because I wanted to mention that too. So thank you for your service, Paul. You said you did 2 years, right?
4 years.
4 years in the Marine Corps. So 4 years in the Marine Corps. Providence, Rhode Island. You went to Johnson Wales in Providence, Rhode Island.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Do you know Nick's on Broadway?
We're talking 1986, man.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't there. I don't know. But that's the freaking restaurant that I'm talking about.
Even if it was there, I would not remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Too much Coke. Too much Coca-Cola drinking.
Coca-Cola.
Too much Coke.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Coca-Cola.
Okay. Very cool, man. Very, very cool. So food is a really big thing. So for you, now tell me, being involved in food, I mean, you're trying, you're tasting. I mean, I know good chefs taste, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, unless Gordon Ramsay just yells that for no reason. I've watched enough of those things that he's taste everything. Is that a true thing? I mean, is that kind of like how? Tell us your story about, so you're in college, you're in food, did you struggle with weight growing up? Did you not struggle? When did that part happen? How did all that come together?
Literally on my 40th birthday, I gained 15 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was entirely head to toe skinny as a rail until I was 40. And then all those, you've seen Despicable Me, the movie?
Yeah.
So like from 40 on, I got like Gru's body, skinny arms, skinny legs, and fat torso and fat neck. And that's kind of where I went, just like that overnight. It was insane.
Crazy. So, yeah. So all the way up to then though was pretty much just eating whatever, right? Are we talking lots of sugar, fried foods, whatever, extra, whatever to make it taste good, sweet creams, all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, carbs.
Very cool. Now, how long have you owned by the way, I have Adam posted your 2 restaurants. I want to give those a shout out, but Boxcar40 and Boxcar on Main. So if you are in, I'm sorry, tell me this, I know Maryland, but where exactly?
All right. So Boxcar40 is in Pittsville, Maryland, which is about 15 miles west of Ocean City.
Okay.
Right? Yes. And I hope it's not east of Ocean City because that would be the ocean. Boxcar on Main is in Berlin, which is like 6 miles west of Ocean City.
Very cool. So if anybody's in those areas, go check it out, right? Go check it out. So we still have our very first ER Shred powwow that we can put together once all this madness is over. You are the man for sure to help out with that. But so talk to me about life, Paul. How did you, after school, obviously I'm sure there was jobs, right? You worked, did you train under any chefs? Did you get into that stuff? Or how'd you get into the whole restaurant owning business? How did that whole story let's take it to that next piece now.
Well, so my late wife and I tried for years to get a restaurant open, and down here in Worcester County where we are, it's not even worth getting into it as a political thing. It's hard to get one little thing to open a restaurant, and we could never get that one little thing. So that's the easiest way to say that. So we just tried forever. And in the meantime, I was working as executive chef at hotels, clubs, restaurants, and I just pretty much fell into an education job. So I taught high school for 4 years, taught culinary at the high school, worst job I ever had in my life. You could not pay me enough money to teach high school kids again. God bless them. But you know what? It was karmic debt for how much of an asshole I was as a high school student. So I paid back.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now, okay. So when did you officially get the restaurants? Where was now? I know you mentioned your late wife, and we're gonna dive into that story and kind of share your experiences around food and the crazy past that you went on learning with her over a decade worth of time. And I posted that in the show notes if anybody reads, the bio and stuff, but you can kind of touch on that. So how long have you had your restaurants for now?
The first one I've had for 3 years. The second one I opened 3.5 months ago during the pandemic, and it's
fantastic.
Awesome.
That is freaking awesome. Yeah.
So I've been teaching at the college for 9 years now, and really 3 years ago, an opportunity came up, and I jumped on it. And so I've been here for 3 years.
Very cool. So you went so you're working in restaurants, executive chef. You were teaching at the college. That was the job, the main gig, teaching culinary food after the experience, and then opportunity comes up, and you snag that first restaurant.
Yep.
Very cool. And obviously things are going good. It looks like things are going great, right?
Yeah. Yes. Fantastic.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm very excited for you. Adam, love Berlin. I posted the website up there for you too, boxcar40.com. So anybody wants to check that.
Hey, I might click on that.
Now there you go. Our American cuisine, you said, right? With a touch of Southern.
Yeah. So
hand-cut steaks. You're speaking my language there.
Yeah. Hand-cut steaks, hand-cut seafood. But then we have the stuff, the shrimp and grits, fried green tomatoes, all kinds of cool stuff. So, I think you and I are going to talk a little bit later about stuff that we're working on.
Yes, so we are.
I'll keep that on my back pocket for right now.
Shh, they have to stay till the end to hear the surprise that that you got in store for them. So, shh, don't tell anybody. Okay, so let's get into this now. So you mentioned your late wife. So tell me, how'd you guys meet? Tell me the story about her. If you don't
so we were married for just shy of 20 years, and we met. It was a blind date through her sister that I used to work with. And after our first date, I thought it went great. And I said, well, hopefully I'll see you again soon. And she's like, I doubt it. Just like, so there's a little bit of a misunderstanding because when, I'm 53 now. When I was at that point, I was 29. And I literally looked like I was 19 years old. And so all she heard was, I'm a senior at Loyola. And so she just assumed I was like 22 years old. And she's like, I don't want to be dating a 22-year-old. So about a month later, her sister's like, hey, how's Julie doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. So I told her, she called Julie, and that was the end of it. So we ended up talking for a couple hours, and that's how we met. It was awesome. But so we were married for 20 years. At the 10-year mark, she was diagnosed with a very aggressive stage. She was at that point she was stage 3 because of the aggressive nature of the tumor, and then within 3 months she was stage 4. But I mean, she was a badass. I mean, it was 10 years, 11 systemic treatments, and God knows how many diets they put her on. And I did every one of them with her.
Wow. So and this is kidney cancer. Kidney cancer. So 10 years in, you get whacked with this. Well, bam.
Yeah. I mean, and at that point we had 4 kids. The youngest was a year and a half old. It was a doozy. Yeah. And people who knew Julie, she was just an amazing. She was an art psychotherapist, and she worked at Indian River County Schools at the center where they have the kids with the most severe disabilities and handicaps. And she was that person who she had a couple kids that never said a word in their life, ever. And within one term, they're saying 2- and 3-word sentences. I mean, she was amazing at what she did. So she was there just shy of 5 years when she had to leave.
Wow. Yeah. She sounds like a pretty amazing person for sure. I mean, anybody who has that kind of talent.
Yeah,
for sure. So she gets diagnosed and stage 3 to stage 4, and yet fought this thing for 10 years. Is that right?
10 years and 11 systemic treatments, which is actually the more staggering statistic, because after the 4th or 5th one, the doctors are like, we don't know how your body's taking, handling just the treatments.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had 11 of them.
Now, when you say that, for people that don't know what that is, what does that mean exactly?
So what she had, so she had kidney cancer, but it was an incredibly rare kind called XB11.2 translocation. I still can't tell you what the hell that means.
Okay.
But, but with kidney cancer, you can't use chemo. I think we did.
Gotcha.
She did chemo towards the end, but it's all immunotherapy. So she would go through interleukin 2, sunitinib, and again, we're going back 6, 7, 14 years. The Ipi-Nivo trial, and all these trials, pretty much it was all trial. So in some they would have a little adverse effect, and others would just absolutely waste her. But as I said, now what we did was we paid attention obviously to our doctors and her oncologists in Western medicine, but then we also did the alternative medicine, the Eastern, try to supplement or amend with some holistic.
Yeah. So you shared this with me, and I kind of want to dive into this a little bit, because this is where your journey of diets and regimens and holistic nutrition and practices came into play. You shared with me that over the course you probably spent what, $80,000? Is that what you had told me? About $80,000 on different regimens and treatments, and you would do every diet with her. Like,
oh, yeah.
First of all, to me, just so you know, for me, that just goes to show me how much of a fucking awesome human being you are. To stand side by side with her, like I can't even imagine. Like mine's pregnant right now and deathly sick, and I'm just like, fuck, that's a lot. You know what I mean? Like, never mind what you go through. So, kudos to you, brother. Like, seriously, like, much love to you. So tell me what you experienced. Like, talk to me about how many, when you're talking like tons of different diets. I mean, talk to me about some of them. What were some of the things that you learned? What were they telling you? Try to sum that up if that's possible.
That's a tough one. When I watched it, and you and I talked about this before, when I watched that video that you, Crystal, and Sean put together, and you were talking about being at the Institute, and you learned 100 different protocols, and they all had research, and they all had this. That's what it felt like going to these practitioners. At least like the Western medicine, the Western doctors, they're like, here's a trial. We don't know what the hell it's going to do. We don't know what it's going to do to your body. Here's a waiver you're signing with 15 pages of single-space possible side effects. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those things. It's awful. I mean, it's page after page after page of anything that could possibly go wrong with your body, just to alleviate them from liability. Right. And it was just on and on and on. At least they're saying, hey, we're doing our best. Whereas the holistic practitioners, they would know. They would know exactly what it was. And it was, a common theme was, it's kind of given knowledge now that sugar feeds cancer. But every one of those diets had grains. They all had, it was like grains and starchy vegetables and sugar. Now me, with what I do, with what I teach my students, I've been teaching about Ansel Keys for 13 years. The 7-Nation study. What garbage that was. I've been teaching that for over a decade. So I'm in the middle here going, well, what's right, what's wrong? Should I listen to them? Should I listen to the doctor? Should I listen to, I kind of know it's bullshit, but I don't. So this is, no matter which way we went, it was just very confusing and frustrating. I mean, devastating.
And yet, so because it's hard, right? Like you're paying to see this specialist, this functional medicine doctor, or this holistic practitioner. And Susan and I talk about this, and those words are kind of loosely thrown around, right? Like in this world, for some reason, like we take these terms and we just like, I don't know what we think, that they're just not necessarily, but you want to believe it, right? Like you're looking for an answer. You guys are trying everything in your power to fight this ridiculous, stupid cancer, right? That your late wife had. And of course you're trying this. Now, when you say, so what are the diets like? So when you say grains, like how are they structuring this? What were they telling you guys? Did they try to tell you that if you did this, that it would like somehow reverse what she had, or what, what was the whole mission behind it?
Nothing. When it came to diet, nothing was about reversing or curing. It was all about, helping her body. And it was very, very much so lean meat, low fat, high grain, high carb. So even there, I'm looking at the 80, and when you watch Fat Fiction, and you look at that big graph about the American, what is it, the diabetes, and then they're high carb, low fat, lean meat. And so again, that was,
Yeah, dude.
and I wrestled with that in my head forever because I'm sitting there going, this is so counterintuitive, but then most of our money was spent on supplements, that they knew for a fact would help, that they knew for a fact could cure, and of course never did, which again, nothing bad against holistic practitioners at all. But, my concern was, here we are. I don't know who was honestly trying to help us and who was trying to make a buck, because it was all incredibly expensive. And some people, it's a tough.
Yeah, there's Susan made a good point to me, and she said, there's no point in bashing, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, medicine, because listen, Western medicine has some of the most greatest advances that hands down saves lives.
Right.
I don't believe that Western medicine is the cure to root causes. I think Western medicine puts band-aids on things that need stitches sometimes, and they don't address the root cause, where functional medicine does try to do that. And supplementation, like I said, I do believe in that, but I do also know a lot of functional medicine doctors that are pushing the supplements because it is an extra line. Like, it is a business at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, and unless their heart's in the right place, which I hope it is, I would hope they're doing that for that reason, to truly help people. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like what I come from, like, is just whether somebody believes it or not, or doesn't. Like, it's not my decision. It's not my opinion to worry about what they're believing. I know where I'm coming from, so I hope they're coming from that place. But I don't
Right.
think that it's all like that. You know what I mean? It's just like some businesses are really good and some aren't really good. So, what did you learn necessarily? Like, you're questioning all this stuff, but yet you did these diets,
Mhm.
right? When you're doing these diets, what was it doing for you? Did she see anything with anything? I'm with you, by the way. I can say without a question of a doubt in my mind, after studying this shit for over 20 years and using myself as a human guinea pig, I too taught that, Paul, because that's all I knew. You know what I mean? Like, in clinical nutrition books, like, sadly, what I know today, I wish I knew way back then, because I feel like we've been freaking lied to for 60 years now, right? And it was
Mhm.
it was all based off of a theory. You brought up a name, Ansel. Google him. He was the jackass who started the movement of removing fat from the human diet, and it's the worst human science experiment ever to take place on the face of this planet. I can say with confidence, it is the dumbest thing that we've ever done. And we won't dive down that deep rabbit hole, but damn it, look it up. It destroyed us when we introduced grains and pushed, eat 7 to 8 grains, which is basically sugar, right? And fuel the body and take away what the body actually needs to thrive and prevent disease and fight infection and do what the body is supposed to freaking do. Like, that's what we are designed to do. It's frustrating because you're being told do that. And I know hospitals too, Paul, today,
Mhm.
people are in there sick, right? And they're feeding. Do you see the shit that comes out of the cafeteria? You would be disgusted. You would be disgusted as somebody who cares about food, what they are feeding sick people to try to heal them. And then they're telling people to drink these drinks like Ensure, and the first ingredient is sugar. It's the most ridiculous garbage bullshit I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's what we're teaching from that side of things. And then the nutrition is teaching, eat all these grains, and look at the results. I mean, look at the worlds, right? Like, we're struggling, dude. We're struggling. Susan said it's criminal. It's more than criminal. It should be outlawed. It should be illegal. It's just ridiculous because look at what it's done for us. What did that do for you I mean, what was your thought process around food at that point? I mean, at this point, talk to me about that at this point in life right now. Like, how are you doing?
Like right now or back then? Right now?
No, how are you doing, like, at that point, like, trying all these different diets, like, your mind's learning one thing but you're being told another, and you're doing all these different diets with your late wife, and what was going on with you?
Honestly, more muddled than I've ever been. I mean, more confused. It just kind of layered confusion on confusion on confusion. And it was, I it's hard to put it into words because it didn't matter what direction we went. It kind of just it's confusing. That's basically the only word I can use for it.
Yeah. And so what did it do for your health? Where are you at now? Weight wise, health wise? I mean, are you kind of gaining weight? I don't know. How old are you at that point in time? Like when, I know you said 40 was like a big flip for you, but.
Yeah, 40, the switch went off. And so I am 52 now, 48. So she was diagnosed when I was 38. Is that right? 48. About 38 is when she was diagnosed.
Okay.
It was a couple of years later. I mean, we were always hustling, and it was a couple of years later that I started noticing it. And then it really wasn't an issue till about 6 years ago when it would go up and down. And really the last 4 years. And a lot of that stress in the last 3 years has been the restaurant. There's a lot, teaching full time, single dad, and I've got an amazing girlfriend. But when you have, you're just juggling so much. And I really saw it in the last probably 2.5, 3 years. And it got bad. It really did.
What does that mean? What does that mean, Paul? It got bad. Like kind of.
I
think that's for me a little bit.
When you have to suck in your gut and hold your breath to tie your shoes, that kind of bad. When everything, you don't want to wake up because you're too damn tired. Excuse me, your joints hurt. You're having body issues, meaning just like, you go to bed bloated, you wake up bloated, the whole 9 yards. And again, it's, you try these diets, you try these things. And I know I had mentioned this to you before a while ago, but years ago when I was trying to find, I'd say probably like 6 years ago, I was trying to find the magic bullet. And so I did a cleanse, I did a fast, which was the closest to a true fast I've ever done. And there's no reason to say the name of it, but you'll know what it is when I tell you. It's organic lemon juice, cayenne pepper, grade B maple syrup, and water. And so you drink 3 quarts of that a day. That's all you get to put in your body. And so I did that for 11 days. Lost a ton of weight, but literally on day 12, I'm like drinking soda, I'm eating cake, and I could not get enough sugar and crap in my body. And it wasn't until I started doing this ER shred about a month and a half ago, and I'm like, holy shit, I was drinking sugar water for 11 days. No wonder I never lost my taste for sugar. It's all I was drinking. That's all I had a taste for 11 days.
So you were trying to heal the body with this magic cleanse.
Sugar.
That literally was dumping more, which is literally sugar, flour, and processed grains are, I know, like, I don't even believe anymore. I just freaking know. Like, I'm going to start talking in such confidence because I just know this now without a doubt in my mind, and I'll argue it to my death. Like, that shit destroys people. It destroys health. It destroys people. It deserves no place in our body. It is not an essential food for a human being, right? It's just fake food. It's just fake food. It's crazy. It's crazy. So you're trying all this stuff now. So you're at a point, I'm sure this affected life. Did this affect work? Your freaking body's hurting. Like you're managing 4 kids, you're managing businesses, like you're teaching, you're trying to have a relationship. Did this cause some trouble? Did this cause impact? How did that kind of did it affect life at all?
Well, I don't really have a good answer for that because it didn't really stop anything. It definitely, it affected the way I feel, and you know what that's like. When it affects the way you feel about yourself, it's going to have impact in parts of your life. When I'll say it was the worst on March 12th last year when they shut all the restaurants down in Maryland, and that was a really devastating thing for all of us restaurant owners. Certainly not alone with that. And so I did what any self-disrespecting bar owner would do. I filled my car with booze and food from the restaurant, and I went home. And I got myself into hibernation mode. We ate, we drank, and it wasn't good. It was terrible. And my girlfriend did not. She's a lot smarter than I am.
Very cool.
She's a lot smarter than I am.
So when you saw this post with Adam, Would you say that at that point, that was like the worst you've been with your health? I mean, was it just getting out of control? You had mentioned on a call that you were in an elevator in your chef jacket, and another chef or what was that all about? This will describe like to people where you were at this point, right?
She's awesome. She's a custodian at the school, and we came back from Christmas break, or no, came back from a break from one of the school breaks. And she went, "Ooh, chef, you've been eating." And that was after like 2 weeks. And I'm like, "Really? Thanks a lot." But then, again, I got to the point where the chef jacket that I can now put a hand like this in my chef jacket, the buttons were popping. I couldn't keep it buttoned.
Wow.
So yeah. So that was just before ER shred. That was just 2 months ago.
That's freaking crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's get into this. Let's get into this now, because you've had ridiculous experience with all sorts of diets, functional medicine practitioners, Western medicine, like been there, done that. Like I wanted people to understand and paint that story, because now I want to kind of show the difference if we possibly can as we wrap these things up. And then we get to announce our special project that we're going to be gifting everybody with, which I'm super excited about. So you find Adam, he posts about collagen elixir, not even necessarily ER shred.
No, I just wanted to get some information on the product, and so we started shooting back and forth, and it wasn't, it might have been that day, I have no idea, but he's like, "Hey, check out this group that I'm a part of on Facebook, ER Shred. It's totally free, and it's just educational." And I started going through, and I'm like, again, when you do 100 of these things, you're like, "Oh God, here we go again." What's this going to cost me? And it didn't take very long for me to realize that, at the end of the day, what are you selling? You're selling product. That's not a mystery. And but it's a good product. And in all honesty, again, not to bash anybody else and not to use names, but in another organization I had been involved with probably 10 years ago, to get the level of information that I get from ER Shred on Facebook would have sent me back $2,500 in CDs and other stuff. I mean, it's just free information. And that's what I love about you guys, because you're educating, you're teaching, you're showing, and you're not afraid. You're unabashed in saying, "You know what, here's this product, buy it. And oh yeah, by the way, this isn't our product, but use this too. I use it. It's great." That's awesome. Like the Wisps cheese things and the flock chips that I shared with you. That's awesome. That's a huge thing.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think Sean's still on here. I know Susan's on here. I mean, what you just said is for me, it's what this is all about. It's community. It's community. It's people helping people. It's people being welcomed at all areas, no matter where they are in life. We are dumping so much value. I mean, would you say, like, try to explain the community? I mean, how important has the community been? How important has it been for you in your journey and your success? Like, how would you describe that to somebody? What people actually have access to for free?
Whew, how do you put that in words? I mean, it's.
I don't know. Try it.
I'm gonna do my best. I've been blown away, and again, I've said it too many times, but I've been shocked actually with if I have a question, it gets answered. And my favorite question of all times: "Hey, can I eat this on the shred?" No, you can't. Stop asking. If there's a question, it can be answered. If there's a concern, it can be addressed. If you need something that's big, super important, there are plenty of people you can private message and get information from. You have your medical personnel who are helping out without giving medical advice per se, but it can certainly lead in the right direction. That's a tremendous support for a lot of people. For me, the shred was easy. I mean, I drank sugar water for 11 days. That's just, what's that?
Say that again. The shred
is easy.
Easy. Wow. I've never heard that in 20 years of doing an elimination reset protocol with people.
But again, drink sugar water for 11 days and this will seem easy.
Yeah.
I promise you. So it's relative, and it is relative.
For
But
sure.
you know, but that's the other thing too. There are some people who aren't successful their first time through. The whole community just gets right underneath them. And they're like, "Don't worry about it, man. Just start again. You're good." That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Rewards. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Have your reward if you have to have your reward. Get back on the
Yeah.
pony and ride off. That's
Yeah.
what the community is to me.
Yeah. The only thing I would say that I would just add is that I don't think I think everybody's at a different point in their life. I think everybody's at a different journey. And I think that no matter what you do that is adding value to your health, is because I believe health is our greatest wealth. I think people take it for granted. And until it's too late or until you need to go, holy shit, I need to do something. Sadly, so many of us need to get to that point to get slapped across the face and wake up. And I just
Right.
love, I love I love that we can be no bullshit. People respect that. Some people might take offense to it at this point in my life. I don't care. Fish. I'm tired of giving people fish. It doesn't work. We've seen that with diets. We've seen that with shit. Like, let's end the diets. Let's end all that crap and give people that information and just meet them where they're at. A little bit of love and tough love at the same time really kind of makes for this beautiful thing for people. I mean, shit, look at the results. Like, so what, when you looked in the group, what was it that said, okay, this is different. I need to make this happen. I've tried all to be so different. Like, what made you say yes?
What made me say yes was looking at all the testimonials, and it wasn't about weight all the time. It was about joint pain. It was about relief in cravings. It was about just the experience, the overall experience. Wow, I just did my first shred. I can't believe fill in the blank feels so much better. I mean, it was just like it's endless. I mean, you go through there, it still blows me away.
Yeah.
And I still see this. People go, I just finished my 5th shred, and holy shit, I didn't know there's something else that feels better. I'm going, holy crap. I mean, there's only so much BS that 20,000 people can come up with. You know what I mean? There's you'll start seeing a pattern, but with this, you go through and you're like, it's either an incredibly well coordinated ruse or this shit's real. And it really was, for me, that was the selling point 100% was the testimonials. And
Yeah.
matched with people of a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different shapes, sizes, a lot of different levels of fitness and health concerns.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It blows me away.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I got chills. I got fucking chills. Think special thing. I would protect it with everything in my life. And I will not quit easy. I will fight to the death. I will fight to the death. But anyways, man. So let's talk about you. You do your first shred and talk to me about the results. I know 5 days in, decrease in sugar cravings, which we already established is unbelievable for you because of all the sugar that you had. What else did you experience? What were your results for shred number 1?
Shred number 1, I lost 7 pounds and I want to say 12 inches overall. Yeah, and it was good. I mean, it was a very important 7 pounds to lose.
Yeah.
As my dad used to say, if you got something nice, put a roof over it.
Yeah.
So it was time for that to go bye-bye. And I have 1 or 2 more shreds before that thing's gone. But it's the fact that I can see results and feel better right away. That's really, to me, it's more important that I can feel better, that I literally can tie my shoes without hurting myself. That's like a monster thing. It's embarrassing. It's super embarrassing. And one day I went into the living room. I was getting dressed. I was dressed. I was getting ready for school. I plopped in the couch and I bent over and I'm like, oof, and I'm tying my shoe and I'm like, oof, when I get up and I look over and my 15-year-old's right there watching me, and I'm just like, oh, this sucks. You just want, I mean, it's awful. So,
I mean, we joke about it, we laugh about it, but I mean, you're single dad. Like, I'm sure that's a kick in the gut, maybe even a swift kick in the nuts, right? And I mean, it's got to make you think. I mean, damn, like I got the kids, they're watching. Like, I mean, did it jab at you when that stuff was happening? I mean,
Oh, completely,
I'm
completely.
sure,
And
right?
then, and this is important too, because, I mean, they only have one parent left. So what right do I have to keep eating those cookies and, keep abusing myself? That's my
Mm,
decision. That is
mm,
my, you and I talked before that, I appreciate the concept of Shred Warrior, but I just ate too many cookies. That was my
yeah,
problem.
yeah.
And here I am. I'm just trying to, I need to give my kids another 20, 30, 40 years. And I sure as hell, and that's the other thing too. I'm from a family of diabetics and pre-diabetics. So, and you and I talked about the GKI monitor that I got. I'm checking my glucose and my ketones. Glucose has been the most educational thing for me. And again, you don't have to do that, but for me, I was just curious. And it's amazing what foods are spiking my sugars instantly or over a period of 2 or 3 hours. That's huge. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
again, for
Yeah, I
longevity.
mean, what you're talking about, Paul, is what's called the glycemic index, and the glycemic index ranks foods. And what happens is it's exactly what you're talking about. And the way that they get their ranking is how fast does a food turn to sugar once it's consumed inside the body, meaning the digestion process, the spike in the blood sugar. Every time we spike our blood sugar, we release insulin, and when insulin is released, there is nothing good that happens inside the body. We don't want insulin going out of control. We don't want it constantly being released. I mean, it's just bad, bad, and bad all freaking around without getting too deep into it, but it's just no bueno. And eventually, you do that too much, you then lose control over that, which is diabetes, and that causes more issues, and that leads to more health issues. And before you know it, you're spiraling out of freaking control, and you're confused. You know nothing else, right? So that's amazing, and I want to encourage you to keep is exactly why I'm where I'm at today, is because for 20 freaking plus years, I never stopped experimenting. I never stopped poking and prodding. I've never stopped. I've always had that open mind to go, I wonder if, and then I would use it on myself. And some went really good and some went really, really, really bad. You know what I mean? And I could have given up and I could have quit, but keep poking, keep prodding, never stop asking questions. That's another cool thing about the ER shred is we are bashing all belief of what we've been told. We are questioning what people are telling us is right, and we are fine. Did that because we just kept poking and prodding till we freaking found the answer, and we're going to keep poking and prodding until we make it better and better and better and better. So just keep going, just keep freaking going, because the more you learn about you, the better it's going to be. And I just want to bring up the point too, because I'm a dad and I'm going to be a dad again. And I'll tell you, man, I never understood the thing of, using kids or whatever. People would say, oh, I got kids, so I can't eat healthy. I'm like, fucking shit, I got kids, so I need to eat healthy. I
Yeah.
need the energy. I need to keep up. I need to live life. I need to be there. I need to be that example. I screwed up in a lot of other things because that's my health. You know what I mean? And for me, that health is that greatest wealth. So you crush shred 1, and then you decide to do shred 2. And tell me the results now after 2 full shreds for you.
Well, so end result of 2 shreds for me is 16 pounds, which is it's monster to me.
Yeah, it's huge.
I don't even care about the inches. I mean, the 16 pounds, I feel the difference. My inflammation is down in my knees. I've had 3 spinal injuries. I fractured C1 is an 89, fractured C1, separated 4-5 or 3. I always get them confused. 3-4 or 4-5. And then in 2017, I snapped the spinous process off of L5. So I've had a lot of back stuff. Never taken any pain meds, kind of like ibuprofen every now and then. And yet I've noticed complete, especially with my lumbar, my lower spine, complete, it doesn't even hurt now. Like literally
Yeah.
does not hurt. Still hurts my neck, still somewhat limiting with range of motion and stuff like that, but down in the lumbar, nothing. So that's huge.
And listen, I me, man. I want to make sure I love our community. I love our shred. I love everything about us, and we're not going anywhere. But I always want to make sure that we're doing things the right way too. And I want to make sure that I just address this real quick. That your story is your story. You are not saying the ER shred did not do what you just said. The concepts around it, your choice, your commitment, your mindset, your willingness to be open-minded and experiment with foods and remove foods and add foods and actually learn to fuel your body for performance, meaning that we are just 100 trillion little cells. We're little circles, Paul. That's all we are as human beings. And every one of those things needs nutrients, vitamins, and minerals to thrive. And we have to find peak optimal ways to give our body the essentials of what they need to do what they were designed to do. And sadly, food from back then is not food of today, where it was very easy to get everything from food because we had topsoil and we had soil rich in minerals. You know, people don't realize that food doesn't grow with minerals. It absorbs them through the grounds, you know, and if they're not there, then it doesn't matter whether that thing's organic or not. So I just want to make it very clear that we not treat anything to that nature whatsoever. We're just guiding people to learn what foods serve them. And what you just described is a perfect example of the human body is miraculous, and given a fighting chance, you will heal yourself. Your body will heal itself. And that fighting chance just comes down to not putting bullshit in your body, non-human like food, and actually putting real food into your body. So I just had to make sure that we got that out there, because this is your story and you're allowed to share that. But
exactly what you said.
Thank you. Okay, cool. So obviously you've crushed it, man. I mean, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for diving deep. Thank you for sharing about your late wife. She sounded like an amazing, amazing human. And you know, again, I just want to commend you for sticking by. I know a lot of people who have run and given up, and it just shows the character and the man that you are. Like, I'm honored to be your friend, and I can't wait to continue to get to know you more and more and more, and finally meet. Hopefully not, because I love me some good food, or we'll just fly you in wherever we're at. Remember, Sean's paying for it, so we're good to go.
Yeah. Sean said
That's it. So let's do this. We're almost at the end of the hour. And now I want to share with somebody, because you and I have been plotting and planning, and we couldn't figure out the timing, because I just finished a big ultra marathon this past weekend, and I was doing some stupid, ridiculous hours of training to lead up to that. But we want to continuously add to the ER Shred, to continuously dump massive value on every single one of you. Remember, this is a free community. You go to www.ershredders.com. We have a YouTube channel. You can go to www.ershred.com to find out about the ER Shred. We have 20, I forgot how many now, it grows so fast. It's like 23, almost 24,000 people part of that community right now. And I think that you're going to give such an amazing freaking gift, Paul. Like you said, we have me, we have health coaches, we have holistic nurses, we have RNs, we have all sorts of other, you know, moms and dads and athletes and non-athletes and all these people that are there. But one of the things that I know is such a powerful tool in your toolbox is, if you don't know how to cook, eating healthy is going to be really hard, right? I mean, right. When you can source your food, if you can make it to a farmer's market and you buy from that farmer, you create that connection to that food, you bring it home, you cook it. I know for me, I love my time in the kitchen. I am not nearly at your level of cooking, but I love to cook. So I'm excited about this. So share with people. You are a professor at a college. You've taught culinary. You teach people for profession how to cook. And what have you volunteered to do with me? What's our plan? Share with everybody what we're gonna gift to them. And we don't know how often. We're gonna start off slowly but surely, but this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna build it up for you guys. So I'm gonna let you spill those beans and tell everybody.
All right, so an old nickname of mine in the Marine Corps is Stewie. So it's the Jess and Stewie Shred Chef Challenge.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is Jess is going to come up my way. We're going to spend a little bit of time videotaping a whole bunch of stuff, and we're going to do this. Now, I'm going to back up. So the one class that I teach, I love teaching it, but it's the biggest pain in my ass, is food prep. I have 15 students, and 10 of them have never even picked up a knife before. Day one, we're breaking down chickens and vegetables. Day 2, we're breaking down vegetables, more chickens, and making some stocks and some basic. Day 3, we're making a 5-course meal for faculty. And I'm not kidding you. I've been doing this for 9 years, 18 semesters, and it's a home run 100% of the time. So I can teach people how to cook. We don't do anything overly complicated. That's really the key. You can make amazing food with four ingredients, 5 ingredients. It's all you need. Mm-hmm. So our goal is to put together some 1.5, 2-minute cooking videos, and then we're going to post them. And then shredders out there can, do the same thing at home, post their videos and or pictures, and then Jesse gets to pick a winner and send some.
Yeah, so we're gonna do like we do on our Wednesday calls. Maybe we can raffle off. We can do some fun contests for people. We'll make it fun. We'll have some in-home cooking lessons. Paul's gonna give you guys the fundamentals, the basics, and I'm telling you, if you got the fundamentals, I mean, damn, just knife skills, just how to properly cut, so everything cooks evenly, right, Paul? How to make these delicious, amazing foods, because one of the biggest misconceptions, Paul, that I've heard over 20 years that people think that is true is that to eat healthy, to fuel your body, has to be boring, and it has to be garbage food and cardboard tasting like food. I mean, you're talking about recipes with 4 and 5 ingredients, so shopping made easier, shopping list going down, stuff that the whole family can enjoy. It's shred approved, meaning higher fat, good quality proteins, no crazy processed carbohydrates or stuff like that. And we can just keep adding these on YouTube into our group, and we'll have just recipe after recipe after recipe, and we can keep on building this. Go ahead, buddy.
No, so that's what about 4 weeks ago. That's literally why I did that video for the hollandaise sauce. That is just it's for 4 ingredients.
Yep.
But I did that because it's the one thing when I started doing this, I'm like, man, I'm not eating meat and butter for the rest of my life. There's got to be something. And I'm like, holy shit, we can do this. It's an old Marriott recipe. We can make the hollandaise. So that's what I want to do. 4 ingredients, maybe 5. Good for us, healthy, super easy to make, not going to break the bank. That's a concern for a lot of people when they do this kind of diet or lifestyle, better word for it. We're going to kill it, man.
Dude, the value that just got added to what is already, in my mind, priceless. I mean, you cannot put a price tag on the quality of information that is being provided by this Shred, lifestyle community. And bro, I want to thank you. I can speak for everybody to get them later. But I want to thank you because I'm super excited to learn myself. And the cool thing, you and I kind of came up with this cool little thing that, you like to make pots and pans dirty. And you know what I mean? What we're going to do is you're going to take on that role, obviously. And when we do this, we're going to show you guys why we're using those ingredients, kind of give some health education around those basic ingredients and kind of how they can serve our body. So it's really an educational health perspective and cooking at a very, very simple level, yet elevated, which is what I love because it matches the Shred. It's the simplest, easiest protocol, but it has the most profound, complex results on human cellular, health and well-being. And I think that really kind of vibes right into where we are. So I'm excited, man. Thank you so much for volunteering and doing that. I mean, I hope people appreciate that and understand just how much of an awesome value that is, because I know I'm jacked about it.
Dude, I appreciate you wanting to work with me because, again, this all goes back to me jumping in the group in the very beginning and not understanding how much information you had for free. I love that. That's huge. It's huge. It's big for everybody. For sure. Yeah.
All right, man. So last thing before we go, we're at the top of who's still skeptical, who's still questioning the Shred, who's like, these 24,000 people all must be in this crazy cult and they're all lost their mind and they're all insane. They're on the fence. There's what do you say to them about the Shred?
It's only 11 days, dude. I mean, it's 11 days. My girlfriend just did it with me the last time and she lost 7 pounds. And she felt so much better. And that's huge. I mean, it's 11 days. At the end of the day, if it didn't work for you, fine. But I have yet to see too many people who are saying that,
Yeah. And real quick, Paul, just touch on this thing real quick. I'm totally with you. Not only that, there's a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee.
Yeah.
On the prep for a reason too. Not only do they have crazy certification backing, but there's a 30-day no questions asked money back guarantee. I mean, you know, overall it's basically we're looking at about $10 a day, you know, plus some food. I mean, for you, do you find that you save money, that you spend more money? What has been the overall thing with that? Let's end with that. So, because I think that's a concern for some people too, that they think this is going to be something that costs them way more than what they're currently doing. What would you say to that?
It hasn't impacted my finances at all because I'm, you know, especially during the shred, you have 2 shakes a day. So I'm spending probably less money, and it certainly hasn't impacted me financially from the grocery bill standpoint.
Yeah, and then added so much value to your health and daily life and quality of life. I mean, that shit's priceless right there, right? Can you even put a price tag on that?
No.
No, not at all. All right, brother. Listen, man, I appreciate you. I love this time getting to know you more. I can't wait to spend time with you. I think we're going to have a blast. I think there's going to be a lot of laughs. I think we're going to have a whole series on just outtakes of all the shit show that we got going on, which I cannot wait for because more of that is more fun in my life. So I am so freaking pumped for this, man. I will connect with you. We will set this up. We will get this going immediately now that I have some free, you know, some extra free time. And I just want to thank you again, bro, for really being a part of the community. You are a special addition to our community. Thank you, Adam, for having the courage to put it out there and to get this connection, to bring you as part of our community. I just can't tell you enough how much I respect you and appreciate you, bro.
Well, I respect you too, man. And you with that death race last weekend, I don't know what's wrong with you, man.
I got some screws loose. We'll talk about that later. All right, guys, listen, thanks for joining. Have an awesome night. Tomorrow, we have our Shred Your Testimonial call. It's always George dropping. I mean, new people, follow-ups with people. I mean, it's just, some will make you cry. It's emotional. We'll do a quick 15-minute breakdown of what the ER Shred is, how it can help. You can always go to www.ershred.com on Thursday night. For those people that are taking part of our other opportunity, you know, we have our Shred Your business call that we have with our other ambassador, Mr. Bob Sivright. So that's every Thursday. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we've got you covered. This is better than TV. I'm telling you that right now. It's definitely more educational. We appreciate you all, and we'll talk to you again next week. Thanks again, Paul.
Thanks, Jesse. See you, man.
All right, buddy. Good night.
Good night.